First of all, I thought it was the coolest thing ever to play something called an ARP because my first, uh, visceral reaction to that name was that I likened it to an electronic harp,
Oh,
like a fantasy harp without the H.
huh.
So it's not a harp, it's an ARP. Then years later, when I found out it's the guy's initials, it's like, oh, just simple stuff like that, just mind blowing.
And then there's the relationship to arpeggio, arpeggiators.
There you go. Yeah, I didn't think about that.
Actually, that was his nickname, and that's how we always he dabbled in painting for a while when he was getting into creative experimental, you know finding yourself as a young man kind of thing, and he signed them all ARP. So
See, so it was the seed was planted from the beginning.
but tell me about your first usage of ARPs then.
Right. That's a very easy answer. I was 18. I had just graduated from high school. I was in a band, and I was looking forward to that summer, and whatever exciting things would unfold from it. And one of the guys in the band that I was playing with, or as I was playing in, loaned me his Odyssey.
Okay.
And that began a very intense love affair at the expense of my neighbors who grew weary of me playing that thing day and night. With because the houses right next to each other. My bedroom window was open a lot, and they heard the strangest noises coming from my room, and they were like, "What in the heck is going on with this guy?" But it was my new best friend, and hours, day and night with that thing, discovering what it can do. All the multicolored knobs and sliders. It was a fantastic experience, and a wonderful gateway to electronic music. And then of course along the way having Stevie Wonder as my idol, and just really connecting so intensely to what he was doing. And flash forward to my actually joining his band, was the ultimate blessing for me. And then after joining his band and seeing his arsenal of equipment, this guy is four of everything. I mean, it was insane. ARPs, Moogs, Fender Rhodes, Yamaha, Synthesizers, everything. And so that was the beginning of that when I just graduated from high school, and then being able to utilize the equipment that Stevie had after I joined his band. And while I was in his band, and even after leaving his band, having some pretty much life-changing moments with the 2600. One of the most memorable experiences was doing the bass part, using that to play the bass part for the Jackson "Shake Your Body Down."
Oh wow! Okay.
You hear that? That's me on a 2600.
Real in the recording of "Shake Your Body Down."
Mm-hmm.
This is again, I keep telling people that the deeper I dive, the more amazing music I unearthed that I had no idea. And that's amazing. Did you start off your career or start off your music life getting lessons, or are you self-taught?
Both. Well, I started playing by ear very early. I was always told at 2. I've said that I've mentioned that age in countless interviews. So 2, somewhere between 2 and 4, to be on the safe side. I started playing by ear, and then my mom, recognizing that this could be serious, started providing lessons. I had a teacher. I had a beginner's teacher, starting around 6. And then, a few years later, more of an intermediate teacher. And then that started getting out of control when my mom realized that I wasn't paying very much attention to her, and I was sort of running circles around her. And she realized I needed more discipline. So she managed to connect me with the pianist with the Detroit Symphony Orchestra.
Whoa.
I mean, he was no joke. And he definitely gave me the discipline I needed. I left his place with my tail between my legs many, many times in tears because he did not play. And but he provided the foundation that I need and the discipline for me to carry on. And I'm so thankful to this day for that. And what's cool is that I got to go back and tell him that I joined Stevie's band.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And he was quite proud.
Amazing. So was it a natural progression to go to synthesizers?
My introduction to the Odyssey sorted all that out. It fixed all that, because that was the bridge. And to have hands-on access, and the ability to experiment anytime I wanted to, for as long as I wanted to, that's why it was a natural progression.
Yeah. The whole idea of lending people instruments or giving people opportunities is one of the things the foundation's all about. So we've amassed a modest collection in Boston. My dad would have been the guy to lend you an instrument. Let's put it that way. And I have countless anecdotes of people telling me about this, of telling me about how he lent them instruments and gave them, gave them the tools to learn, and he gave them the reels and all this stuff. And so that's where we're trying to pass on that tradition. So many musicians like yourself got your introduction to synthesis by having someone lend you an instrument, and how that is so important to kind of give back to future generations to be able to enjoy and do that.
It's huge. It's literally unlocking a door.
Yeah.
To your imagination, your creativity, development, growth. It's crucial. It's one of the most significant things you can do to a life.
You mentioned Stevie was an influence of yours. Are there any other people that were influential, music in general, and synthesizer usage in particular?
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Well, there was this other guy, Herbie.
Oh, that guy.
And there was another guy, Les McCann, when he came out with Layers. That just fried me.
Oh, yeah.
And I got to tell him that too, which is wonderful in and of itself. So yeah, I had plenty of influences. I mean, even Keith Emerson.
Mm-hmm.
Todd Rundgren.
Oh, yeah. Did you know of Roger Powell, who played with Todd Rundgren and he did some really, really cool stuff. It's called Cosmic Furnace. You should check it out if you don't know it.
And I haven't checked it out, in depth, but I've heard of Cosmic Furnace, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah, really, all synthesizer. I suppose it could be thought of in some ways as jazz fusion, combined with electronic music, if that's a genre. I'm not sure you could say it's a genre at this point, like saying violin music. I'm not sure, but
Mhm.
yeah, he worked for ARP, and then he also worked for Moog later.
Also, let us not forget Zawinul.
Ah,
Come on now,
yeah,
Joe
amazing.
Beast. Um, and the guy with Yes,
Oh, yes,
Rick Wakeman.
Yep.
So those were all, uh, significant influences. The main one was Stevie,
Yeah,
of course.
yeah. Yeah, and most of the ones you mentioned were not only ARP users but endorsees and created groundbreaking stuff. So every synthesizer manufacturer or maker or brand, I should say, had its own strengths. And I liken that to the idea of guitars. Fender and Gibson, two different companies, two different styles. Their necks are different. Their approaches were all very different. And I like to think of it more as one type of synthesizer may have and something that they like a lot, and another one has another thing. What would you say is a strong aspect of the ARP itself? Is it the sound? Is it the interface? Is it?
Yes, I you know I'm not the greatest technical whiz. I can't articulate it in technical terms the way 99% of my buddies can. But all I can say is that uh, since have personalities, they're like kids. So I don't prefer uh, Harp over Moog. They're both. I love them both um, for specific reasons, but they have a lot of the same features. It's a different approach, uh, obviously, with uh, each one, but um, they, as similar as they are, they have unique personality traits.
Exactly, yeah.
And for instance, I used a mini Moog uh, to do the bass part on Man in the Mirror, but I used a 2600 to do the bass part on Thriller. Bet you didn't know that. So
Yeah.
that
Oh. Wow. Wow. Music that is iconic, music, sounds that are iconic, using these instruments
now it's history. But at that time,
and making history.
it was groundbreaking. We were making history and didn't realize it, and it was all fresh and new.
So exciting, so cool. And I'm sure that as a musician who made these sounds, it must be really thrilling to be part of history in that way.
Oh, it is. Um, I I did have a hand, to a good extent on the creating of the sounds, but I also had, um, fantastic help from guys like Boddicker and Tony Marinelli, who uh, helped create the sound for a Thriller, that's 2600, and couldn't have done it without him.
What would you say to a young musician starting off that's interested in making new sounds?
Well, I mean, there is about 1,000 times more resources to access than I ever had. Not only do you have physical vintage and new keyboards, you have software versions of the same things. So there's literally no excuse. Just turn it on and start playing. It's what,
Yeah.
It's no magical secret. Just turn it on and start playing.
I think approaching it sometimes with a beginner's mind is actually some of the richest experiences someone can have. If you go in not knowing what's going to come out and being open to,
Just,
the happy accidents.
absolutely. Just being open to experimentation and learning the instrument, learning what it does. And the only way that's going to happen is after you press the on button, you start fidgeting with stuff. It's moving knobs and learning what one knob does and how it affects the other knob or slider. It's just that simple. It really is, And okay, if you're into reading instruction manuals, God bless you. I am not one of them, but
I hear you.
Just turn it on and start playing, and be open and receptive, to learning what it's all about.
And that idea of the happy accidents that happen when you're experimenting with an instrument that has so many possibilities. Are there any times that that's happened and then it became a recording? It became something that you decided to use?
Oh yeah, I'm hard pressed to specify an example to you right now, but just trust me on it. It's happened a lot, and I've had that. Sure, I know I have. Where stumbled across some sound that was able to complement, the track I was working on.
Yeah, that's what I was. I think that's what I was hoping to hear in some ways. That the unexpected is allowed and welcomed in, and that's one of the beauties of electronic music, that there's more options than there ever was before.
Yeah, I mean, it's the cornerstone of the creative process. Being open to any kind of possibility, and again, with the access, it's just incredible what is available and what can be used and the combinations that they can be used in.
Now, do you remember, because I remember that there was a time where union musicians, orchestral musicians, studio musicians were really threatened by the concept of synthesizer. Do you have any remembrance of that?
I do.
Yeah.
I do. Yeah, it was tough. It's tough because and it was a legitimate concern, almost like AI taking over humans, it was a legitimate concern, but then, after a period of time of, adjusting to the new kid on the block, I realized that, there was room for both. And then, over time, things settled and they ended up welcoming and embracing each other.
Mm-hmm.
But eventually, those musicians came to realize that, they could work in tandem, or there was certainly room for each side, that no one had to be eliminated at the expense of the other.